Welcome back to the episode of AI Ranch, where we navigate the wild west of AI technologies and how it affects the businesses all over the world. And today, my guest is Nauris, who is Chief Innovation Officer at Delfin Group and also the member of the board. He has a great experience in all sorts of fintech companies. Really, I don't exaggerate it. We talked before. It seems really insightful. And I met Nauris in RigaCon, the largest technical conference here in Baltics, and he was telling about the AI tools that they use in their daily business in the company. I was really surprised because I recently looked at statistics, and only 5% of the internet users know about AI search engines at all. Like everybody else is just using Google. So, and I believe that in your company is not the case. So I'm really happy to meet you here and welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So let's start by giving our listeners a little bit of background of yourself. Where are you from? What was your experience so far?
So yeah, I have been around 8 years in the fintech space. Before that, I was in public transportations, where I led the project about the intelligent vehicles and also a lot of IT projects. It's a nice place where to try different things, because I was working in the biggest public transportation company in Latvia, and of course there's a lot of systems what you can build and what you can do. But yeah, like last 8 years I have been in the fintech in companies that has built a lot of fintech products across the Europe and Asia. So I have been part of the lending systems like the payday, installment, credit line. I have built also one of the biggest European peer-to-peer marketplaces. I have been participated in the bank licensing processes, investment brokerage service licensing processes, in the payment institution processes. So different kind of fintech spaces. And so now I'm representing the Delfin Group, which is one of Latvian fintech companies founded in 2009. And like in last 3 years has significant growth due to the IPO also in the local Nasdaq exchange, Nasdaq Baltic. And so there is ambitious team who wants to develop the company and enjoy and to seeing this ambition, and also give my inputs to make these ambitions come true.
What exactly the Delfin Group does, like on the daily basis, or where are you making money?
Yeah, so we have like 3 main business lines. The first and the biggest one is the consumer lending. We own approximately 20% of the market share here in Latvia. Latvia is our only market currently. That's our biggest business line. The second biggest is actually circular economy or retail. So we are buying the used goods and then reselling them to the others who wants to buy maybe cheaper, better, or sustainable way. So we are encouraging the sustainable consumption. And the third line is the pawn shops. We have like 90 branches across the Latvia under the brand Banknote. And this is also part of our circular economy, actually, that customers who has like old iPhone, they can bring it to the pawn shop, or will be able to do it also in online. They can sell it to us, and we will resell to someone else who maybe needs it. That's how I bought my daughter first phone. So it's no use to buy a new one. You actually can buy in very good shape. We give the warranty about the device. If something is not working, you can bring it back and take another. So.
And your own role at Delfin Group, what are your responsibilities and how it overlaps with AI and things like that?
So I have like 2 hats, I would say. One is the board member, which is of course all the strategical move of the company and all the supervision and governance of the company. But like the function which I'm fulfilling in the functional level, operational level, is an innovation function, which consists of, I would say, 3 parts. The biggest part is the information technologies, of course, all related IT. So we have in-house team with 30 people. So there is development, there is infrastructure, support, QA, all that stuff. Then the second part is IT security, which is separated from the IT. So I'm also governing the security questions. And the third is user experience. So the like all the digital user experience, and not only also the experience in the shops and so on. So like, and my main role and what I'm trying to do is to bring innovation in all over the company. So in the business processes, internal processes, in the technology system, in technology-wise, in business models, in products. So everywhere we can add and encourage to think about new things, I'm trying to put my hand there.
And in terms of AI, so I remember this very useful speech of how you use it in the daily life business processes. That's one thing, but let's talk about something that's more fundamental to your business. So how do you use the AI technologies, and do you have like expertise of team and in the core business services?
I will maybe go a bit back in the history how the financial services happened like 20 years ago, for example. So when the customer wanted a loan, he submitted all the information on the paper or maybe digitally. And then there was bank teller on the side who just received all the information, went through all the things and decided, okay, can I grant a loan or not? Or should I go to the commission who can grant the loan? So that was the process, which was, of course, not scalable because there is as much people as you can get, and that's it. So the first move was that some kind of first lending rules appeared. So let's, for example, if 100 persons apply for the loan, we filter out which ones we actually want to review further. So that was the first step. Now I think in USA and in UK it started right after the financial crisis in 2008, when of course everything started to be automated. They understand, okay, we have to evaluate better, we have to do it much more efficient, and they started to, and then also the big data and machine learning became a thing. So there was actually these buzzwords already happening, and everyone started to look, okay, what we can do with this. And of course, taking that banks has a lot of client data, they could train the machine learning models. So the fintechs, in that sense, stepped in, and they were more technology literate, and they actually used all latest technologies, the computing power, the cloud computing. The banks were afraid of that for a long time yet. Now they are not. But what fintech started to do, they put this computing and machine learning models in the center of their business model. So they actually, okay, if we will have the best scoring model, we can fast and efficiently evaluate the clients. We can get a lot of clients be evaluated. We can issue them more loans. And also in Delfin Group, I think it's 5 years when the first iterations of this scoring model was created. And the idea is, that just to be faster, more precise, and you give the clients loans and know that they will, or the highest probability they will pay back the money actually. That's how the simple words that the model says, okay, what is the probability that client will pay back the money? And then it's, what is your risk appetite? You can decide to work only with the clients where you trust that they will pay back all the time, or you can, how big loan portfolio you want to build.
So you say 5 years you already have this kind of technology. And then you mentioned banks. Banks have lots of data. But then I also know that when you look at the adoption of the new products, this curve, right? Bell curve. So you have early adopters, main part of the market, and then there's laggers, right? And it's always been that banks or the laggers. So, is it the moment that do you know that banks are actually already using AI technologies, or is it that they are still scared and they have all of this data, but they are not utilizing it?
Banks became aware of the fintechs also, I think, some five years ago, and they understood, okay, we cannot just ignore them. They are growing. Of course, there were big fintechs already across the globe. So what they did actually, and that's a smart move, they start to partner with the fintechs. Okay, I know you have a good solution, good product, good system, whatever. Let's create the greenfield project, for example. Let's create some. That's how actually a lot of banks became the neobanks or challenger banks. They just, together with some kind of team, created like new company where bank gave the data and the team and the company gave the technology and all the know-how, and that's how they built the digital bank, for example. And now I think the banks are at the same level because either they have developed this in-house capacity, either they have bought some kind of fintechs, or they have partnered with the fintech. So I don't think that they are laggard anymore. So.
Oh, well, and was it the case also for you? Did you partner with the banks, or how did you get the data initially?
No. So we actually, as we were operating from 2009, we had collected quite a good database already with the clients' data. So, and there was good initial data set where you can train the model. So then you just get it and retrain it to make it better. The issue, of course, is with new markets, and also like in previous experience, we had like to open new market, and you don't have any data. So what you do, you decide, okay, this is the best what we can build. There is no model. Let's just pay for the data. So and you just issue the loans to everyone. And then you start to sort of, okay, these are the good clients, these are the bad clients. Let's train the model to know that these are good clients and we should issue them and reject the bad clients. So that's kind of like marketing training cost that you have to take if you go into the
so
market.
if you want loans without questions, you need to look for
Fintech players in the field.
In the new country.
Yeah.
That's an interesting knowledge to have. Okay, and then what kind of features, what kind of inputs are you using for that credit scoring model?
The main data set comes, of course, from historical, like what we have, how the loans were evaluated and how they behaved in their loan life cycle. But actually, we are already collecting data during the application process, how customers is behaving. Are they deleting data? Are they copying data? So you can actually get a lot of insights from that already, and of course the device data and all that thing. That's like the first layer. The second is you check against the other credit bureau data. So we have integrations with all, I would say, Latvian credit bureaus. We check what they have, how they have performed in other companies. Do they have the other loans? How they're paying back and so on. Also, we are collecting the bank statements. So also we see what kind of transactions are there, because not always what we can see in the registers actually reflects how customers paying. So they can have income which is not maybe visible in some registers or something like that, and then also we can take some kind of effect of that. So those, I would say, are the main data inputs. Of course, there are some smaller ones as well, which we just along the way collect.
And for example, the bank statements. So this is something that bank gives to you, or the customer somehow transfers?
We are actually using the PSD2 provider for this. So customers do the identification. That's a mandatory thing. They have to do the identification, and then we, during the identification, also ask them, okay, do you want that we also take the bank statement from your account for the past 3 months? So, and then we do the transaction categorization, and we see, okay, this is your income, this is where you spend the money. We take some kind of our internal categorization in count as well, and then we decide, okay, let's move on.
Okay, and these integrations with other institutions, myself from this data science perspective, I'm not that familiar, and many listeners maybe not that familiar how the fintech actually works. And so is it possible for me just to build another credit issuing company and then just easily integrate with all of those providers, or is it difficult?
You have to be licensed. That's the main criteria. So there is specific license under consumer protection agency. They are keeping all the licensed entities, and if you have the license, then you just go and sign agreement with the credit bureaus, and you start to use their data sources.
And these credit bureaus. So I assume there are a couple of them. So is it how expensive it is to collect data from them?
So you pay some kind of money for each call. So it depends how much calls you are making, and you can do some optimizations there as well. Maybe call it only once a month if he applies again. So you actually know that his current state, you are not calling all the time. So, but I will not be able to call exact numbers, but it's
approximately.
Yeah, it's some 10-20 cents for a call.
So
yeah. So, but at the end of the day, it collects, of course.
Somebody already asking for your integration for you to...
We have to actually share back the information to the credit bureau. So it's like two-way communication. So they are giving us information, what's happening in other companies, and we have to report back to them. It's actually mandatory by law to do that. So, and we are submitting the information, okay, that, for example, you took a loan, the loan is like 1,000 euros. And also if he's paying back, then okay, the loan has been paid.
But still, there might be some differences in your model than other companies. So you're offering also integrations with your platform, or not really?
Not really. We are not offering that kind of service. I know that there has been intentions in other companies that they think okay, we have a good service as a service. We can create a model as a service and then just give to others. But at the end of the day, each of these business models are quite specific, and which may fit for you may not fit for others. So it's you have different risk appetite, you have maybe different know-how, you do things differently, and it's not in that sense just copy paste to other.
So you just mentioned you also collect data like the behavior, how you are filling the form, if you're not spelling things rightly or being very stressed or something. So have you noticed some funny patterns or useful patterns from this?
Yeah, this is from my previous experience. Actually, it was more for the fraud cases because it was quite straightforward. If you copy data from somewhere,
right,
you are not writing it in, you are not typing it.
So don't copy.
This is strange. Okay, why you are copying? Why you're not writing your personal code or names from where you are copying it? So, and then again, if you are not like making typos or something, again, this is strange. You are automating this. Why it's not happening? So you can when you have big data set, you can see these patterns. Okay, these kind of customers, they are with the probability that they are fraud because there is something wrong how they are filling in the application. So, and but you have to have quite big data set to understand that. But yeah, from like device data, which also we talked before, the one interesting aspect is that, for example, at some point there was consideration that the customers who applies from bigger monitors are better money payer back than those who apply from smaller monitor size. So there may be, because they are richer and they can afford bigger monitors, and that's why they are paying back more. But that you can kind of cherry pick some kind of interesting insights as well from that. But that has to be evaluated.
Yeah, that's so I don't think like many of the loan takers think about these kind of things, but it seems that they make sense. And you mentioned about fraud as well. So your experience with the fraud so far, and is it a big problem, and how to battle it? Is there some opportunity with AI there?
I would say in Latvia, the fraud is not that big issue because we have quite good regulation. We have quite good registers where you can get data and you can rely on them. But in our previous experience, like in Asia, in those countries, it's a very common thing. You have to fight fraud because first, you don't have reliable source of data, like registers. There is no, like, for example, these citizen registers where you can just take data or some kind of that, or document validity. You cannot check that. So you have to either risk it or not. And in some countries, these fraudsters become quite sophisticated that they already know how you evaluate the loans. They already understand it, and then they try to find the loopholes. How fast you will find that, okay, we are fraudsters, not actually real customers. And there you have to be able to be flexible in that sense that you have to be able to deploy new models almost every day.
And give us an example, like how actually for these like small loans or something, how the fraud could happen usually.
Usually, it's like one example which comes in my mind is that they are using some kind of information from what they have, I don't know, stolen or got from like real persons. Mostly they are old persons, like seniors.
Older people, yeah.
Yeah, and they are taking on behalf of them the loans, and they know how to get those loans, what kind of information, how you have to behave, how you do the things to get the loan granted. And then you just scale that operation. Okay, I have like 1,000 senior documents. I know how to bypass the scoring models and get the positive result. And what happens is those seniors at some point start to come and say, hey, I didn't take this loan. Why there is loan on me? Why you are debt collecting from me? And then you start to look, okay, we have like already 100 such applications. Something is wrong with this. And in previous case, there has been significant loss, like in hundreds of thousands of euros. So that actually this fraud.
Is it that easy that you can just filter by the age and then just make some additional check or?
No, it's not that easy. You have actually to. There is like several models that's running at the same time. Like one is the credit scoring model, and then in parallel you can run the fraud model, which is checking different patterns. And at the end, when you evaluate and decide, okay, to grant or not, you look on the credit scoring. It says, okay, it's fine. And then you look on the fraud side. What fraud model said? And from fraud model said, for example, there is something sketchy, and then you decide, okay, I will not grant the loan because fraud model said something strange there.
And so you developed this in-house, right? As you said 5 years ago. So how easy it was to set up the team, how much it usually costs, what kind of problems you went through with this model, and I assume now it's working fine, right?
No, if the business is growing and profitable, then that means it's fine. Yeah, but of course there is a lot of space for improvement. It's like never-ending process. You all the time just give in the new data set, you add new data sources, and just retrain the model and run it and try to make that this probability of default is as less as possible. The team setup, of course, it's hard because there is very scarce resource availability. So there is not a lot of, and especially there is need for this financial knowledge, which you have to understand the product, how it works. It's not that it's only some data scientists who have worked on different industries can come in and try to solve this, because you have to understand how the business model works. But once you train the team, it's a huge advantage for the business, because that's even if you improve by 0.1% the probability of default, it gives a lot of upside on the revenue and on the like profit side.
But you still have also a man in the middle, right? There is somebody who will see the results of the scoring model and approve.
Yeah.
Right?
No, actually, if you are talking about the loan granting process, then 96% are automatically granted. So it's total majority is automatically granted. Only few cases are going to the manual approval, where the credit specialist actually is looking into, maybe calling to the client, maybe you can add different bank statement, for example, or something we cannot evaluate or something. But total majority is just automatically. That's actually why the fintechs were growing, because the banks didn't have this high level of automatic approval. So if you take in the bank loan, it takes few days. In the best case, maybe at the same day, but I haven't seen that yet. But if you take like in our product in Banknote, you can apply, and if everything goes fine, actually you can get money in your account in under 1 minute.
Well, and the amount of the money, is there some kind of, from your experience in these kind of automated credit granting, what is the thresholds, or is different for the applicant, or what's the?
It depends on the quality of you as a client. So we have these groups. So if you are A class client, then you can get actually up to 10,000 euros. If you are a lower class client, then there is of course less allowance of that.
I always have been worrying about this. So in case if you're like this high class client, right, and you can easily just within 1 minute get 10,000, then isn't that the case that mostly these type of clients would never actually take those kind of grants because they don't need it?
Yeah, that's the case. Actually, that's how it is. But we see that like from their possibility to pay like monthly payment, the DSTI or debt to income ratio is that high that we could grant them 10,000. But yeah, that's what you said. They never take that much because
From the usage patterns of these kind of platforms, as I also know information of that, you see also the high income, like the high wealth individuals actually anytime using anything like this, and why they are using this or not really?
They are, in our case, they are using like in two cases. The first is for some reason the bank didn't grant them loan. So because this is already the zone where you can get the loan in non-bank segment and in the bank segment. So those clients are the same actually, client segment. Either you want the money faster than bank can give you, or for some reason bank didn't give you because they are more conservative, their risk appetite is much lower. They don't want to take you as a client for some reason. I don't know for what reasons could be there. That's on bank policy side. But in our case, we have our own risk appetite. We see this client is a good, like from our parameters, what we have for credit scoring, it's a good client. So why we shouldn't give them? And mostly those classes are also paying as we expect them to pay.
So you developed this model, and from your experience, what you need for the team to build this kind of model? Like what kind of personnel, expertise, and how long it takes to actually build something for production?
Yeah, so of course the key moment here is data scientist, that who actually takes the data and learn to train the machine learning models and deploy. But I think very underestimated position is actually data engineer. the person who actually builds whole infrastructure, how you can actually deploy that model. So how you get the data from production to run on the data science servers, for example, to do some calculations, to train the models, and also how you can deploy those models as a separate, let's say, containers of applications. So that's something that also we are now looking for. That currently, while the scale was not so big, you can actually put this all skills in one person or two persons. But now when the scale is already big and you have to start, we need to look into the models. We have more models. Credit scoring model is not the only model. There are actually other models as well in the business processes you can use. Then the one who will train and work with models is data scientist. One who will build all the infrastructure and take care about the deployment will be data engineer. Then there is risk analysts who will actually analyze, did those models bring the results which we wanted them to bring? Then there's portfolio manager who looks, let's change for example, how models are accepting things a bit differently, because we see from portfolio that it's much more profitable to take these customers and not take these customers. So, and then of course there is like business analysts and reporting who are just creating the reports, and so the operational reports.
And if you have data, how long it takes to build something workable?
If you have like skilled personnel, then to bring up the infrastructure and to deploy the first model, it's 1 month. Fintech, how it all started with the credit scoring models was that there was like data analyst, I would say. He understood, this is a thing, we should create a data model, so credit scoring model. And he defined the rules, and then he just passed it to the IT team, implement it. And then IT, on the best knowledge, they implemented the scoring model results, how it should evaluate the customers. And I have seen this in several fintechs already, that initially the credit scoring development, it's actually IT thing. And the data team just gives the inputs and IT team try to figure out, and then there's a lot of back and forth between the data, this is not correctly interpreted, and so on. And then what happens naturally with the company, and also what happens in our company, is that you start to take out it as an IT responsibility, and actually here the data engineer comes in, he says, I will build infrastructure, and we will not put it in the IT system, but actually it will be a separate model, which data scientists can update as they wish. They can work on it, they can deploy several models per day, whatever they want, and IT system actually only orchestrates it. So it just sends in the data, returns the data, and decides what to do. So, and this has happened in many of the fintechs, and that's why I would say that this data team growth also happens how far the fintech is to separate it as it's not IT team, it's actually data team who takes care of that.
So do you apply these kind of AI models or are you planning to apply in some other processes? For example, you mentioned you have these, and around Riga here in the Baltics, there's lots of these stores, banknote, where you can bring in the old goods, resell them, and take loans on them and so on. So and also maybe mobile apps.
So 2 things what we are still covering with the models is machine learning models. One is the sales calls. So there is a model who says that let's call to these clients first, because most likely you will get the deal. So it's not that you have only 1,000 client lists and then you just one by one go. Actually, it's prioritized with the highest probability that they will actually make a deal. And same with the debt collection, that there is a prioritized list by model who just takes care that, these clients which you will call most likely will pick up and most likely will pay back. So, and that's how you create the efficiency, because you are not maybe, if there wouldn't these models, you would call the client who will not pick up and will not pay back, and you wouldn't call to those who actually would pay back. And if you're talking about the item appraisal, I think that's the topic for the next year for us, because currently all the item evaluation, how worth it is, it happens manually. So there is like script, you just take, for example, Apple iPhone, you went through it, you see the technical parameters, you see how good it is, how old it is, and you decide, this is, for example, €300 worth. But actually this can be done by machine learning models. So we have collected quite extensive set of data about a lot of different kind of things, starting from guitars handling with the phones. Of course, the phones, laptops, and electronic devices are much easier to evaluate because there is a lot of data sources for the guitar. If it's Jimi Hendrix guitar, it's very unique, so you cannot give 200 euros for that. And I think the next year we want to actually make the model for this that it would run in parallel. So we see that, for example, this branch employee gave 300 euros for this phone. You see the model also is evaluating it at 300. And when we have this conviction that yes, now they are evaluating as we would like it, and then we can automate and we can exclude this manual work, which is huge efficiency. You can imagine it's like 120 200 employees who are doing this manual job. It takes like, I don't know, 10 minutes to evaluate this item, and you can just do it in 1 minute. So it's 9 minutes per employee, which you actually are just gaining for different works.
So the precision potential is higher.
Yeah, and you can actually adjust model much faster and easier than actually to explain to all employees that, okay, now we are doing things differently.
And I never thought about this, but then you have this huge influx of these used items. Are you already selling them somewhere in some kind of online marketplace or some kind of channels, or how it happens?
Yeah, so we have these physical branches where you can go in and just buy as any retail store, and we have also the of course e-commerce site vehicles.banknote.lv, where we are also publishing all the items with the descriptions, and also there actually we are looking how to use the AI. This is more generative AI, how to actually create these descriptions, because currently the employees has to manually just describe the items. So when they are taking the Apple phone, they are choosing from the classifier, and then they are manually, okay, there is scratch on that's so.
You need to use AI for that.
Yeah, and that you can actually, okay, this is a picture, and the AI can read, okay, there is scratch on the screen. Okay, I will write it there. So, and those things, small details which can give huge efficiency, and also the motivation for employees to write all this manually, it's not there. So, and you cannot get this quality standard maybe as you would like for the e-commerce site. So
yeah, so we just now touched this topic, so the personal efficiency of work. So, and as I mentioned in the beginning, that was something that was very good at your presentation at RigaCom. So can you please walk us through the process of and your experience so far of this in your company?
Since last November, it seems only 1 year, but everything has changed. Yeah? So when the ChatGPT became mainstream, then I'll suddenly realize that this is huge efficiency gain. I would say first half a year nobody understood, okay, how to apply it, that it's game changer, but how it will change the everyday business environment. Yeah, we also, I think it started somewhere in March when, as I also told in RigaCom, that I had a call with the supervisory board member, and we just hyped up each other. Yeah, there is this new thing. Yeah, we have to do something about it. And what we decided, he had some contacts, I had some contacts. Let's do two things. The first is we got the professor from University of Buffalo in New York, who actually is the AI faculty leader or something, who has worked, and he gave us a keynote presentation to explain, okay, this is happening, this is how it works, this is the future, in briefly. Yeah? So, and the main takeaway from that was that you should look how to improve or innovate your internal business processes. That will be the biggest gain. If you can make efficient internal business processes, you will see a lot of benefit from that. And then, of course, then we took more practical approach, starting from senior leadership, that we had practical ChatGPT training, how to use it properly. Because someone from management team hasn't used it at all. Someone has tried to use it as a Google, and someone has used it more advanced way. So, and we kind of put everyone on the same page. This is how it works. This is how it should be used. And that was the first step in overall. We understood, okay, this is a game changer. Also, for me personally, I understand that the biggest and the hardest thing about it is that you have to change your own behavior. So you have to think that if you want to do something, can it be done with the AI tools? No matter it's ChatGPT or some picture generation tool or whatever, because the usual scenarios, you will open the PowerPoint, Word, or Excel, and you start to type something in there. Yeah? But actually, you can start with typing the prompt and getting I don't know, at least the structure of the PowerPoint, or I don't know, some kind of template. Now the ChatGPT options are just skyrocketed. What you can do with the ChatGPT, and this behavior is the hardest to change, because a lot of, also I see that from management team, they are doing things like they have used to do it in like past 5-10 years, you have to work with yourself. But one example from how I see the personal efficiency is that I had this half an hour left at the end of the day, and I look onto my to-do list and I say, okay, there is like one PR article which I have to give thesis for. I have to review some questionnaire about the IT security, and I decided to challenge me. Okay, can I do one of these in like 30 minutes? And 20 minutes later, I have been finalized both of those tasks. So it's like, normally if I wouldn't use the ChatGPT or different AI tools, it would take for me like, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours to do those tasks. But now I did both of them 20 minutes. So the efficiency gain is just crazy. And I think the same, I'm trying to this mindset give also to the team. We are now in Delfin Group also organizing the targeted trainings for teams. So currently the IT team is undergoing the same training. So we had this, how the basic use of ChatGPT, how to properly create the prompts. And now for QA team, we have specific session, how to use AI tools in QA, how to use AI tools for project management, how to use AI tools for the developers. And actually, developers are even better case, because yesterday I was listening to a podcast that Shopify developers has written already 1 million line codes with GitHub Copilot. You can imagine what kind of efficiency gain there is if it's written with the Copilot, so 1 million lines. So that's and now I think we are trying to emphasize, or we are actually trying to give the training to those teams where we should see that the personal efficiency will be the biggest impact on the company-wise. So it will be, of course, IT, it will be data team, it could be call center where you can like automate or make more efficient these small tasks which you do every day. And in overall, that should give that you have more free time, or you can do more in less time. Yeah? So that's the ultimate game here. And then if you're looking on the overall like timeline, the next would be that teams already becoming more efficient. Then you look at already whole processes or teams who are participating in the business model, they are getting more efficient. Mm-hmm. And then you actually start to implement it in the core process. And as I said also in the conference, then you can try to consider yourself as an AI first organization, which means that AI is everywhere what you do, the business model, the products, the teams, the business processes, there is some kind of AI layer there. And then you think from that as first principles that, okay, the AI is something that we will do.
It was not crypto first.
Yeah.
but it's actually funny because you're from the Fintech, and that's another topic at all. But then the timeline, right? So maybe set some goal, some posts here. Like, what do you expect? Like, if there's a company that don't have any kind of AI tools in their processes, and how you go? What do you think?
So the first basic, also the Delfin Group, we are only on the beginning of the story. So even though we have maybe taken more steps than others, we are just the beginning of this story. And I see that it took for us, I would say, year while we understood, okay, we have to train the teams. I think it will take at least another year while the teams will be trained and they actually will start to use like for personal efficiency. Most likely another year afterwards when teams will start to collaborate. There it's actually a bit already merged together, because when the teams will start to collaborate from the AI first principles, and also the business models or business processes will start to evolve as AI first. Yeah, but I think to get to AI first organization, it will still take 5 years at least. No, that's minimum, I would say, because there are a lot of things changing. The AI space is changing just rapidly. So we don't know what will be after the 5 years.
But let's sorry again. So you said that like it takes years. So the company should be aware of that. Then the first steps is you hire some expert. Where do you find those? You mentioned this is some kind of expert from outside, right? And then but you need actually some experts that come in, right? And how do you find them? How do you evaluate them? How do you see that this is actually person who knows things or just knows how to talk?
Yeah, actually, we haven't got till the point when we have some kind of AI developer in-house or some kind of AI who does the prompt engineering or something like that. Currently, we have found this trainer who helps us to get the basics of this, to get into the mindset of this, and that's the first step. Most likely, the next year or end of the next year would be something that okay, now there is benefit that let's bring someone in-house. And there is already mindset and knowledge how this should be used, and there is actually benefit because, for example, if you would bring in the AI developer now, then nobody would know what to ask him because nobody knows what are the actually potential of the AI tools. We know that there is something, but I think it would be very, very complicated situation because you have a person who has to do something about it, but nobody knows what to ask him and he doesn't know about the business. So I would say that the first is train the internal team. Then when the team is already in the mindset and they are using the AI tools for personal efficiency, bring in someone who can start to develop already the cross-stream collaboration, the business processes, that thing, and then you can already get some kind of benefit in an organization level.
And so far, have you seen some good and also bad examples where somebody attempted to use it very wrongly?
Yeah. The bad example, what I have heard from the industry is that, here is the ChatGPT, let's buy subscriptions and use it. And no training, nothing. So just use it. Yeah. So it's like another Google. Just use it. And this doesn't work. I can say right away it's just wasted money because it's wasted money because these prompts and all that the mindset it's not straightforward. Natural, yeah, it's not natural. You have to be trained in that. So. And that's the worst case scenario that let's buy subscriptions, Copilot subscriptions and use it and you have to be more efficient, but nobody says how to be more efficient. And that's the bad. The good scenarios is that I see that also from more experience that when the managers got the understanding what ChatGPT or AI tools can do, they are passing it down to the teams. And now I see that team members are coming, okay, I'm using this. Can I get the subscription and I will use it in more advanced way and increase my personal efficiency? And that's the use case when already the employees come like with very specific requests. Yeah, I will, for example, marketing. I need to generate the text for the blogs. I need to generate the pictures. I don't want to spend, for example, some outsourced marketing budget or something like a graphic designer. I can do it by myself, but I need the tools and maybe training how to do that.
Yeah, so you've seen most likely there's now so many small tools, right, for these kind of specific tasks. What do you think? What's your experience with them? Do you have some tools that you like already? Except ChatGPT and in your team?
Right, I tested, of course, Google Bard as it is competitor of but I didn't like that much as a ChatGPT. The Midjourney was for pictures. It was like half a year. It was my number one, but now actually the latest it's also very good and it can be used and it's now integrated all together. GitHub Copilot, of course, was the coding tool number one when you want to code something. I'm also amateur coding, and it's just I remember the first experience. I just write and then it's like autofill. You just of course you have to evaluate if the written code is correct and if it works, but you don't have to try to figure out and maybe half an hour write this code because it's just a few seconds questions. And those are tools which we are now like looking, the image generation tool, the coding tools, and some content generation tools. For translations, I think the DeepL we are using also for translations, it's very competitive with the Google Translate. So
yeah, just drop in presentation, press one button. That's it.
No, for most of the businesses, the ChatGPT gives all what is needed. So you can generate picture there, you can generate content there, you can get the answers there. So I would say that for majority of companies, it will be enough. And
yeah, again, it depends on the training, because as soon as you train how to use it properly, you understand that it actually requires work. It's not like you just, it's not the oracle. It's not like you just type in, I want to get this and it's done. It's, you need to invest, worry how to feed it with information. So, and then if you have specialized small tool, then you don't need to invest that work, and then it's actually working immediately.
yeah, that's true, because with the ChatGPT I had to create these styles, I would say. Yeah. So I have a special conversation for LinkedIn post styles. I have for formal styles. So, and of course, if there now it's going also that there will be this very specific targeted tool. You can do this, and that's it. What this tool can do, or this interface can do, and that will change the game. But now it's very early stage. It's still hard, because the next issue, what happened also with the app store, is that there will be so much apps. And you will have to understand who are good apps, who are not good apps, and how they are using your data, and so on and so on.
What's kind of your main advice for any company who would like to go in this direction? Like what you would summarize it up into a couple of sentences?
I would summarize that you have to think from this perspective, that there will be like two-speed society.
Yeah.
The one who are not using AI tools and the one who is using AI tools. And the one who is using AI tools will be just much more efficient and can do much more productive work. And the question is when the company is ready to jump into this efficiency layer, because it's okay also not to jump it right away, but just keep an eye, but not to miss the point when you actually want to also become productive. Like example that before there was tractors like on the field, agriculture. Yeah? So everyone was doing it by hand or by horse. Yeah? And then there became tractors, and it became much more productive. And it just didn't created a lot of unemployed employees, like that. It just made process efficient. And the AI is another tractor, another layer, so it's just a very powerful tractor. Yeah. So, and those who will buy those or jump into that will be more productive and can do more.
Really thankful for this conversation, and I think it was very insightful for me. I'm not from the fintech, and also very insightful to see how these things that have been in research for last 10 years and now in the production actually impact your life. And I believe that that's the direction where we are going. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
So thank you for joining another episode of AI Ranch. I hope that you find it useful. As a gratitude for our work, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and see you in the next episode.